Dr. Bassett, president of Heritage University.
Thank you, Senator Hagan. And Senator Berg, great years in North Carolina, although I did have to tell Senator Warren this morning that immediately before Washington, I was in Massachusetts for 10 years. Never could keep a job, always moving around. Senator Murray introduced Heritage University so well, I wasn't quite sure I had anything left to say, except that when people say, well, what is Heritage? I say, well, it's only had one president. She's a Catholic nun, but it's not a Catholic school. And it is on tribal land, but it's not a tribal school. Well, what in the world is it? Well, it's a private university that was established about 32 years ago, not where Fort Wright was, that was in Spokane, but it did have a kind of branch in the Yakima Valley. And two Native American women, when Fort Wright folded, said, we have no place, there's no place to educate our teachers. And they started a new college. Now that's, kind of hard to believe right now. How in the world do you start a new college that way? They raised money, they got land, they got some influential trustees, and they told Sister Kathleen Ross, who was the provost at Fort Wright then, as it closed, she had to be the first president. So 28 years later, she handed off her baby to somebody coming in from Massachusetts. It's a remarkable place. The Yakima Valley is a great agricultural valley where all your apples come from. We grow the hops and so forth. That's really what's led to the student population being about 55% Mexican American and about 10 to 15% Native American, with the population on the Yakima Reservation. The educational attainment in the valley is low, particularly the lower valley, which doesn't include the city of Yakima, is the upper valley. It includes a great deal of poverty. Only 6% of the adults in the lower valley have a bachelor's degree. Appalachia's 12% by comparison. The students grow up there with people telling them, for one reason or another, what they can't do. Well, your people don't do that sort of thing, What is it you think you're doing? Over and over again, we meet a person that's been told by counselors, you're very good with your hands, Juanita. You might think about beauty school. Now, I have nothing against beauty schools, but these Juanitas are capable of being brain surgeons. And they've been told all their life what they can't do, what the limitations are. When I arrived at Heritage, I felt that as wonderful as it was anecdotally, statistically, it wasn't performing the way it should. We've made a number of investments to improve performance in the last couple of years. One is to really increase the intentional tutoring and advising of all of our students. And that individual attention, building on TRIO and CAMP programs too, is making a huge difference. Secondly, attaching them to a major and a dream earlier. We find that almost all the students that drop out really don't have a clear image of themselves being an airline pilot or a doctor, lawyer, business person, whatever it is up there. Thirdly, changing the financial aid formula to a more equitable formula so that more students can go. Fourth, raising expectations, creating a culture of higher expectations. The worst thing we can do is lower the bar for students. These students have amazing potential. Yes, they've been educationally disadvantaged, but they have wonderful potential. Over and over again, I see students, a young woman named Brenda who dropped out of school, had a baby, was working in the fields. Somebody said, why are you doing this? You're a smart young woman. Got her to go back, get a GED, get a college degree, graduates from Heritage, takes a couple of corporate jobs in the East, is now managing a lot of the international marketing for St. Michel Winery. I could tell the same story about people now with managerial positions at Costco, Walmart, many other corporations like that, holding excellent teaching positions. Our residency-based teacher training program is recognized maybe as the best in the state, and the teachers are culturally sensitive to the kinds of students in the classroom. Couple of comments about the particular populations we have. The Hispanic population, very family-oriented. Students don't go to college, families go to college. In fact, we know if we don't get out in the valley and reach the kids when they're this age, working with their families, we're always going to be fighting a rearguard action. In order to improve statistically the performance in the valley, we need to get everybody up. The Native American population, much more reserved, harder to build up trust with that population, wonderful abilities there. We find cohorting that group, having them study in groups, at least for the freshman year, of students with like backgrounds, like interests, can make a huge difference in their long-term success. But raising the bar, providing a lot of support, these things make a huge difference for our populations. So thank you very much.